Greetings and welcome to Film Rants, the only show on the internet you're watching at the moment. I've used that joke before, but hey, this episode isn't being written, so yay for improv. Tonight, I, your host, E. Adam Thomas, am joined again by Angry Andy, who has not changed his clothes in a week. And I can tell. And tonight we're going to actually do a slightly different episode of Film Rants. We're going to go ahead and tackle two movies together. The movies I have selected for tonight are, drumroll please.
I'm white, I don't have any rhythm.
Oh,
here we go.
Empire Strikes Back and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. That was loud. All right, so first off, let's take a look at Empire Strikes Back. Here we have a story about 2.5 hours long, which is about a half hour longer than it needed to be, about Han Solo, Princess Leia, and of course Luke Skywalker going off once again to fight his dad, because he's a rebellious teenager and that's what they do. Long story short, there's a bunch of battles, there's some snow play, Luke gets stranded on Dagobah for a while with a Muppet, and then he finally meets up with his dad, and his dad cuts his hand off because he refused to mow the lawn because, you know, you gotta be stern with kids.
I thought it was because he caught him masturbating.
Well, that was in the original cut, but Lucas went back and fixed it later, like he does with all of his fucking movies. At any rate, basically the Empire Strikes Back is an awesome film. Don't get me wrong. I think it's an amazing piece of film. But I just think that the whole execution of the storyline was a little bit too awkwardly segmented. And let's face it, those 1930s style wipes from one scene to the other are more distracting and just way too cloying for my taste. That's one of the problems I've always had with the Star Wars films to begin with just the fact that they were based on, they were kind of inspired by those old serials from the 30s and 40s, like the old Flash Gordon film serials and things of that nature, and they just carried a little bit too much of that pastiche over into the films.
So you have a problem with wiping?
Then we have Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Now here is a somewhat better film, obviously, because for one thing, you've got a cast of regulars that we have grown to know over the course of a couple of decades. You've got Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Sulu, Chekhov, Uhura, Scotty.
Spurk.
Spurk.
Shatner's...
Spurk?
Spurk.
Did I say
that's
Spurk?
Shatner's hairpiece, is Spurk.
Oh. Okay.
And everyone's gotten to know him. It's been up there since the Tribble episode, just kind of attached to his head, sucking.
Well, that would explain the Priceline commercials. But anyway, my main reason for thinking that Star Trek II is a better film is simply from the standpoint that, with the exception of Khan himself, played brilliantly by Ricardo Montalban, most of the characters are not the two-dimensional, melodramatic characters that you have in Empire. You've got characters with multiple layers and multiple types of depth to them. Spock is Spock, he's still logical and everything, but there is a lot more personality and a lot more, gleam in his eyes, so to speak, especially when he's verbally dueling with bones and stuff. And it's just generally, a better film in terms of the special effects are pretty much on the even par because most of the special effects were done by the same company for both films. So Industrial Light and Magic, they handle the effects for both films. So, that's not even...
Well, after Star Wars, they pretty much had the monopoly on special effects for
That's true.
decades.
But as far as the actual storytelling is concerned, my personal view is that, with Kirk sort of has a Vader Luke thing going on himself, except that he's not evil like Vader was, at least on camera. And you have this thing they're start off as bitter adversaries, but they grow to respect and care for each other by the end of the film. And I think that's a much more intelligent and interesting story to tell throughout the course of the film than the whole Vader bad, Luke good, hate each other, chop hand, bye-bye, go away, and now Han is in carbonite for some reason. So, on my rantometer, for Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, I gave artistic a 5, coolness a 5, originality a 5, and suck factor a 1. Suck factor on Khan, the 1 is primarily just the fact that the story tends to dwell a little bit too much on the ages of the characters and not enough on the story as a whole. It literally takes them 45 minutes before they stop thinking, oh, I'm old, I'm getting depressed, oh, yeah. That aspect of it kind of bothered me. As opposed to Empire, the Empire rantometer gets a 4 for artistic. Coolness gets a 5. Originality, again, gets a 4 because of the wipes and all the Flash Gordon references. And the suck factor gets a 2 because these characters didn't really grow that much, except for maybe Luke a little bit, but the other characters, not so much. Where did I get the David Letterman sound effects from? Anyway.
Everything was thrown in the trash after last episode, so I'm sure you picked it up there.
Oh, that's true. I did go rooting through the dumpster at Sullivan Theater. I got a good Paul Schaefer. Good
quality Paul Schaefer. He's back in your bathroom cleaning the toilet.
Yeah, well, until I get him a keyboard. So, your turn. What do you think?
Number one, these two movies are very similar to each other. You've got Wrath of Khan, you've got Empire, where they both have the big grandiose villain, the big villain that everybody's fighting against. Khan is just the epitome of a bad guy, and you got the Empire and Vader, the epitome of a bad guy. And then you've also got a movie in which near the end of the movie you have a couple of main characters that nobody expects anything to happen to, all of a sudden taken out of the story, with Spock dying and Han being locked in carbonite. You also have a point where characters kind of, you expect a character to be a friendly character that is not a friendly character, where you have Chekhov have a fucking earwig that makes him go bad, and you have Lando Calrissian, who starts out, you think he's a good guy, and then he turns into a bad guy, and then he turns into a good guy. And then you have the big reveal of both movies about the family. You've got, in Wrath of Khan, you have Shatner finding out he has a son, and in Empire, you have Darth Vader, the big reveal that, he's the father of Luke Skywalker. So
spoilers!
Fuck. So they're very similar movies when you start thinking about thematic, and honestly, the way that the stories were done were very well done in both movies. The way they handled the characters, and I completely disagree that Empire doesn't have any character growth. It has one of the most compelling developmental love stories between Han and Leia that put a lot of movies to shame, including fucking prequels that I never goddamn mentioned. It was very compelling, and the characters grew. You had Han, was about to leave to, the rebellion to go, turn in his money, but he stayed to save Luke, and then he ends up being a hero of the rebellion. That's character development. Luke finds out that he starts out as this kid who doesn't know and have a path, and by the end, he's the big reveal that Vader's his father really starts to change that character as well. So both movies, they do well in bringing more dimension to the character. Khan does it by, Shatner having to face the fact that he's old, or, Kirk having to face that he's old. Shatner's never faced that he's old. So the only glaring difference between these two movies, the main thing that I look at that makes me think that Empire is a much better movie, is incest. It's all about the incest. You have, in Empire Strikes Back, you have Leia kissing Luke, and at the time everyone's, oh look, Leia and Luke might get together, and then it's a love triangle between Luke and Han, and then he's fucking kissing his sister. I mean, seriously, you didn't think about that until it's all, Luke, I am your father. Wait, and then it's all of a sudden.
So your thing is that Empire is a better movie because it contains incest?
Well, yeah, if you think about it, look at modern day. Everything comes back to porn. Everything is about porn. When you look at porn nowadays, fucking everything's all gross and, oh, bitch, yeah, take that, except for incest porn where they're actually loving each other when the brother and sister get together and they love each other, and it can be a tender moment because the fact that it's incest is the thing that's weird about it. So when you look at Empire and you got the incest, it's weird. It's the kink of the movie is that, when you saw Leia and Luke kiss, you think that behind the scenes they're bumping uglies, and then, oh, he came on his sister. Of course, you don't think that when you're a 10-year-old kid, but when you rewatch it when you're a fucking old man like me, you realize that there's a chance that Luke and Leia bumped fucking uglies and they can have a kid with fucking 4 eyes in 10 years. And the big family reveal about,
Admiral Akbar. That could be their kid.
There we go. Then you have the big reveal of, Kirk and David, who's his son.
And their gay relationship.
Well, see, that's the thing, is if there was a gay relationship, then it would have been a little bit more interesting. Because, let's face it, Kirk probably has bastards all over the goddamn universe in a multitude rainbow of colors, because he fucked green, blue, yellow. Didn't matter, he fucking came in it.
Pretty much somewhere out there in Star Trek land, there is a girl who looks like Tom Baker's scarf.
Probably.
That is Kirk's daughter.
And all the diseases that came off his dick onto them. So it wouldn't surprise me.
They already did that on Robot Chicken, but anyway.
So, I mean, it's really not surprising that Kirk had a son. It's just a matter of when one would come knocking on the door. Hi, Dad. And, asking him for money.
Hi, Dad. Can I borrow the car?
Can I borrow the starship, Dad?
There's a shuttlecraft free this weekend.
Okay, that's just wrong. Anyway, so you're actually saying, though, that Empire is a better film primarily because Luke and Leia almost got it on.
Well, I mean, we don't know if it's almost or if it actually happened, but that's really the only difference between the two movies is you have family members who might have fucking banged. And that adds depth to the story, and it adds kind of a weird factor when you rewatch it when you're older. When you rewatch Khan, you pretty much know everything that's going to happen, and nothing in there is really surprising. But then when you rewatch it and you start thinking about it, and when Vader says, "No, Luke, I am your father," there's that moment where you go, "Holy shit, Luke threw it at his sister."
Oh,
that
God.
is entirely a different dimension.
All right. Well, I think we've agreed to disagree once again on another episode of Film Rants here. I still hold true that Star Trek The Wrath of Khan is a better film overall than Empire Strikes Back, although I may have to rewatch it at least once with the whole incest angle burned into my head, or maybe I'll just burn my disc. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Anyway, you know how to contact us. Use the hashtag FilmRantCAT. Email address is filmrantcat@cox.net, and he likes to net some cocks every now and then. I'm E. Adam Thomas.
And I'm Angry Andy.
And he's still fucking bald. Ugly. Okay. Anyway, good night, and have an unpleasant tomorrow. Angry Men Reviews. Many fucks said, no fucks given.